Hey guys, my name is Duck or Kyle. Maybe I should go with Kyle for the sake of this video, since I'm kind of wanting to talk about being a little bit more sincere. I recently have been going through a lot of changes, just trying to decide what I want to do with my life and how I can live a more sincere and authentic life for myself, and then also being more sincere and authentic for others, basically. I've kind of learned that I don't really know who I am most of the time, but my sister recently made a video talking about wanting to be more authentic, and that's something that really resonated with me. And so, kind of like Vlog Brother style, hey Astrid, I kind of wanted to talk about it as well, talk about it a little bit from my perspective as someone who has never really been very creative. It's never really been my bag. I find that I'm too perfectionistic. I'm too distractible. I don't really stick with things for a super long time, or if I do, it becomes more of a half-assed version. Oh, that's awesome. Let's see if we can get that back. Okay, I feel like the light's back on me now at least. Yeah, I've never really been a super creative person. I always wanted to be a YouTuber. At least when I was a kid, I wanted to be a YouTuber. I feel like a lot of people probably around my age, I'm 27 by the way, probably grew up during like kind of one of the first peaks of YouTube, I would say. I mean, of course, YouTube is still really big. Sorry, my cat is coughing. He doesn't normally do that. You okay, Papa? Kind of grew up in like one of the peaks of YouTube. I remember I watched what's his name? The Syndicate Project. I remember growing up and watching a lot of him, and I thought, whoa, that's so amazing. He just plays Minecraft, and he has all these people like adoring him, like all this attention. And I don't think I thought that at the time. Like I don't think I thought about it in that sort of way. I just thought, oh wow, that's cool. His job is playing video games. But I think looking back, it's definitely more of like an attention thing, like wanting people to see me, wanting people to appreciate me for who I am. And of course, like I say that knowing that the Syndicate Project, Tom, I think is his name. Like I'm not sure exactly how authentic he actually is. Probably not very. I mean, there's the whole gambling thing that happened. Not to really go into that, but I saw that, and I didn't even really watch a whole bunch of his videos. I just watched some of his videos, and I was like, "This is what I want to do. I'm going to make Minecraft Let's Play videos," and I did. I made lots of videos actually, and I didn't put a lot of effort into them. I would just record and just start playing. Especially at the beginning, it was funny. I was a squeaker. Maybe that sounds weird now, but that's kind of what people would call me because I would get on Xbox Live. I grew up in the great age of voice chats, and I would hop in a Call of Duty lobby, start talking, and people would tell me to shut the fuck up because I had such a high pitched voice. And I still have a pretty high pitched voice, but especially at the time, it was really bad. And I didn't go through puberty for a while. Like I was kind of a late bloomer. I don't think my voice actually dropped until I was like 14, which is relatively normal. But I had friends who voice dropped way quicker, and also I just had a naturally higher pitch voice. I think so. Like I was doing my Minecraft Let's Plays, and I would play with my friend Miguel. Oh, and it's dead. Welcome back. I'm using my brand new iPhone now, and honestly, it might even be better in some ways than my starter Lumix camera that I barely know how to use. It looks really nice. It looks really good, I think. So we're just going to continue like this. I don't really have a lot of patience or willpower to want to charge my camera right now. Yeah, we're going to do this instead, I guess. Yeah, so I was talking about how as a kid I wanted to be a YouTuber, right? And this is kind of like part of my reply to my sister in the sense that I think we had pretty similar interests as kids, probably just in general. I started out, I was like, I love Minecraft. I'm gonna make Minecraft videos. So I did. I made a lot of videos, and I can probably show some clips. This is future Kyle. I'm editing that video I made. I was going to go find clips from my YouTube channel I had as a kid. I think this is just another reminder that I'm just really hard on myself. Like
I was watching the videos, I'm like, oh my god, he's such a sweet little kid. He's so creative. I was making like Minecraft skins. I was like playing all these games with my best friend. It's just a very whimsical time.
For
Okay, okay, I got to record. I'm sorry, guys. Um, I'm here with Miguel, obviously. Like, for almost all my videos, Miguel's either in the background or I'm playing with him. Someone's dying.
I got a shovel. What can I do with that?
Okay, guys, today I'm actually doing something kind of different. This is for Dakota, and I also got a skin, or a skin that I'm almost done with, to give you for your birthday. And hopefully this works. Happy birthday! Oh, that's a B, by the way.
Yeah, I don't know. I just thought it was very interesting. It's interesting how time can kind of warp your perspective a little bit. And also how as you get older, you kind of lose your spark a little bit. It's not really something I noticed. And I mean, in this video, I talk a lot about how, oh my god, I talk a lot about how, yeah, I'm not creative. Like, that's never really been my bag, right? But I think that's just not entirely true. I think I lost my bag, but I think I'd be hard pressed to say that this little kid I'm watching from 12 years ago is not a very creative kid. Like, I don't think I can really say that. So, yeah, I don't know. Okay.
Astrid, missing elixir, shout out. She can just turn on the camera and have a really coherent, really thoughtful diagnosis of like being authentic, being sincere on the camera. And of course, she's a musician. She makes music. I used to think I was a musician, and maybe I still can be, but as of right now, I don't make music. I don't play music, but she does. She makes music. She makes videos. She makes art, and that's the big thing is that I never really found that I could make art, and I think now, especially as an older gentleman, pushing 30, as my friends like to say, I find that art is one of the most sincere things you can do. It's the closest you can get to letting someone see inside your own mind. And I'll put the meme here, but there's this great meme. I forget how it goes. I'll put it somewhere right here. But something about no one ever being able to actually see what's inside your head. Like everything is a communication. Like isn't language isn't thoughts. This is something that I think about a lot, especially as a language learner. And as you learn another language, you realize it's like, oh, I don't think in English. I think in something a little bit more abstract. And when you think in something more abstract, you then kind of go through like this modulation from language to, or sorry, from thoughts to language, or really ideas to language, and then you can either speak that out or maybe you just think about it, maybe you ponder, but it's all like a translation, right? So I remember that was really scary for me when I kind of first came to that realization. It was scary to me because I'm like, oh, I actually am trapped in my mind, or at least that's what I thought. No one will ever be in my mind. No one will ever get to know exactly how I'm feeling about anything. I mean, of course, you can tell people, but especially for me, who I don't really feel like I have a very set identity a lot of the time, sometimes I say things I don't mean. In fact, most of the time, I think I probably say things I don't mean because I'm always trying to please other people. I'm always thinking about how the other person is going to react when I say something. And so a lot of the times I say the safest thing. I say things that either I think will make people laugh or will make people agree with me. And I never get to actually just be myself and be sincere. Journaling has helped a lot with that. Like I said, I'm not super creative. Like I don't make a lot of things. I indulge, I consume. I'm a consumer, less of a creator, more of a consumer. And so, kind of like my outlet for understanding myself, because since I don't create, it's hard for me to understand myself. It's hard to understand yourself if you're not creating things. Like, I think this is, I'm all over the place. So I'm just going to keep going and hopefully I can edit something that is more tangible for myself and maybe whoever's watching, hopefully my sister. Um, I shouldn't have even said that. I lost my train of thought. Yeah, if you don't create, and creation can mean all kinds of things. Like I think journaling is a form of creation. I journal and I write down my thoughts, and now they're on a paper. And now that is something that wasn't there before. That is something I can look back on, and I do. I reread my journals all the time because sometimes I forget how I was feeling, or I need to remind myself how angry I was or how sad I was about something. But if you don't create, like if you only consume, how can you ever have an identity? And maybe that's a strong statement, but I think that's true. Like, if you only consume, then what are you? The culmination of the things you like. This is something that I had done, like when I was in 8th grade, and I was figuring out who I was, and I'm still obviously figuring out who I am. I think everyone is always just in a process of figuring out who they are. But when I was in 8th grade, I was really into like fandom culture. This was like 2013, 2012, when fandoms were so big. I was a Super Who Locker. Shout out Super Who Lock. I don't know how many people even think about that anymore. It was a different time. I didn't really like Supernatural, but I was a big Sherlock and Doctor Who fan. And I was such a big Doctor Who fan that I changed my haircut to look like Matt Smith because I thought his doctor was so amazing. He was so quirked up. I was like, I want to be like him. I want to be quirked up. I started wearing bow ties. And this would all make sense if you watch Doctor Who. If you haven't watched Doctor Who, then bear with me for a little bit. But the 11th Doctor, what he kind of represented to me is someone who is very sincere. Like, he's very silly. He's very goofy. He doesn't really care about what people think about him so much. I mean, he would wear fezzes. He would wear bow ties and suspenders. He like his first episode, I think he was eating fish sticks and custard, something very strange, right? And of course, at the time, that was kind of like little random culture a little bit, just being like, oh, he's so random, he's so random. But that really resonated with me as a kid, someone who's willing to just kind of be himself. I think I probably got kind of the wrong idea about it, considering that I didn't become my true self from watching that. I was like, oh, I'll just become the 11th Doctor then. It's genius. I'll just wear a bow tie to school and I'll style my hair in this huge way. And of course, I had really thick, nice hair at the time, so it was like kind of a fun way of like expressing myself a little bit. I feel like it's not necessarily a problem. I think people can consume things, and that's obviously fine. I think probably most people just consume them. Most people don't create. And I mean, you can argue like different forms of creation in your career. A lot of people who feel like they have very fulfilling careers, there's some level of creation, some level of leadership. I think leadership can be a form of creativity. Anything where you're kind of making something happen can be a form of creativity. But I mean, this is a very broad statement. I don't know if this is true, but I feel like a lot of people probably just consume. A lot of people, they have these meandering jobs. They work at Amazon, they work at Chick-fil-A, they work at 7-Eleven, just some service job. Doesn't You're not necessarily having to do anything. Not like if you're, especially if you're like just a team player, you're just a worker. You go in, you get the job done. And so if that's all you do all the time, then what is your identity? Like, what is your authentic self? I would say your authentic self is lost a little bit. You find that you have to identify with a certain thing, you have to identify with a show. That's what I did when I was a kid. I identified with Doctor Who. That was like my thing. That was my thing as a kid. And then as I got a little bit older, I identified as a trombone player. I played trombone for a really long time. I identified myself as, oh, I'm a band kid. That's what I do. But all these things are not truly yourself, right? Like, I don't think anyone can be simplified into just being a fan of a TV show, being a member of a political party. I think, especially right now, that's very relevant, right? A lot of people, when they get older, they kind of fall into, are you left leaning? Are you right leaning? Are you conservative? Are you liberal? And it's not their fault. I think the media kind of forces people into these boxes, especially now with the algorithm. Oh, don't even get me started on the algorithm. If you only consume, then your identity is the algorithm, if you really think about it, right? Like, what else can you be? If you only consume, you work your 9 to 5, you come home, you watch YouTube, you watch Netflix, you watch your favorite live streamer, you don't talk in the live stream, you don't comment, you don't participate, you just consume, then what else can you be except what the algorithm feeds you, right? You watch one MAGA video, all of a sudden you're watching Nick Fuentes, I don't know, you're watching more MAGA people, or I mean vice versa. You're more left leaning, you watch these bread tubers who are just liberals, right? And I'm not trying to like say one way like what's right, what's wrong. I have my own personal beliefs that maybe I can get into in another time. But you're not really yourself, right? I can't imagine that someone who spends all their day on Twitter fighting the opposite party is being their authentic self. How could that be your authentic self? How can that be all you are? It's there's a car alarm. I don't know if that caught on the mic. But how can that be yourself? How can an algorithm, like, it will show you things and you will click on it and it knows you, right? Like, that's the thing, is that this algorithm, it knows you. Probably knows you better than maybe you know yourself, right? When you just consume and consume and consume and you never create, you never engage. Are you even a human at that point? Like, is that what the meaning of life is now, is to consume under capitalism? Yeah, I don't know. Like, do we want algorithms to decide who you are? I don't. I don't want that. And especially now with AI, like, people are becoming so attached to AI, they're almost like detaching their brain. When does it get to the point where it's too far? I personally think it has already gone too far. I think it probably went too far when we started having infinite feeds on YouTube, on Instagram, when we started having researchers decide how much attention they can get out of you. I think that's probably where it went too far in my book, because that's been the most harmful to me. And maybe other people might disagree. Obviously, technology is good. It's mostly good, I think. I think progress is good. Maybe we should have more limits on things like that. I just have this picture in my mind of basically just like a robot. I mean, honestly, we have maybe more in common with the AI chatbots than we do with other humans at times. Like, what is an AI chatbot doing? It's scraping the internet, getting data. That's the big thing, is that it's getting all this data. So then it can give you answers, right? It can tell you what to think, what to feel, if something's right or wrong, based on what it's getting on the internet. Is that really so different than what a lot of humans do at this point? I mean, even before we had AI, a lot of people base their whole personality around being online and having these online spaces, like what they read on the internet, who they're talking to. And now the AI just has all that data as well. It's just really interesting. It's very interesting to think about. I don't really have any conclusions, of course. I'm just kind of talking. I'm a little bit rambling. Yeah, just to bring it full circle, I guess. Maybe I can pinpoint exactly what I'm trying to say here a little bit. Is that I personally want to be more authentic. I want to be more sincere with myself and with the people around me. And to bring it back another circle, I want to be more like my sister. I want to be more creative. I want to feel like I can do things, even if my mind is telling me I can't. And this is one of the ways I feel like I can try to do that, is making a video, talking, just trying to be myself, trying to put my thoughts out there. Not really trying to argue with anyone. I don't want to argue with anyone. Very anti-confrontational, which might be a bad thing, but I tend to strive for peace more than anything else. That's kind of something I'm wanting to explore more this year. My team lead at work, well, he's not my team lead anymore. Shout out Zach. He's just such a nice, genuine guy. And I love him a lot, actually. I think he's had a profound effect on my life. Oh my God, I'm starting to tear up. He's not dead or anything. He's still alive. I just haven't talked to him in a while. We would go on these one-on-ones a lot, which is corporate talk for, I mean, you probably know, one-on-one talking about work. Typically, we wouldn't talk about work. I would tell him about the things I'm wanting to do or things he's wanting to do. And we're just being friends more than anything else. But he was so supportive, so nice. He has this thing where every year he doesn't make a New Year's resolution. He makes a theme. I believe one of his themes, like a couple years ago, was like foundation. He would take just all kinds of things, very abstract ideas, maybe less abstract ideas, and he put them all together into this one thing. One of the things he's working on was literally the foundation of his house. Like, he was fixing up some things on his house. Makes sense. Not very abstract. But then other things like working on the fundamentals of what he wants to be in life. That's kind of working on the foundation of his life. And I guess what I want this year is a little bit more exploration. I want to be able to explore different parts of myself. I want to explore things on YouTube. I want to try to create more. I want to try to do things. And not necessarily for the sake of profit or recognition. Like, I don't expect that many people will watch this video. it's just something that I don't think I've ever really given myself the space to do. I've never given myself the space to just do something. It always has to be perfect or nothing. Like this year, I started out, my theme was cultivation. I still write it in my journal. I put in parentheses cultivation. I think I've strayed a lot from that. Some things I probably have cultivated, and maybe I can go into that in another video. But I started out this year thinking I want to be a director. I was like something like crazy. I was like something so different. I've never done anything like that before. I love movies. Let me be a director. I hate my job. I hate my job. Let me do something radically different. Let me do something that is creative. Let me do something that is big and visionary. I was like, I'm gonna write a script, and I maybe one day I will write this script. I started it. I put a good amount of time into it from like January to March, but I fell into this trap of consuming. I stopped wanting to write. I would write and I'd be like, this is bad. I hate this. I wish I could create something better. And I'd read all these books. I read so many books about writing. I read Stephen King's book on writing. I read Murakami's book on running and writing. I read my phone's recording, so I can't. I have a list of books I read every year. I read so many books, probably like 7 books on writing, and I never finished the script. I got so stuck in how to write that I never really wrote much. And I think my idea is still good. I still want to come back to it. I think as I get older, I probably will come back to it because there's a lot of things in there I want to explore. Explore, yes, 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 yes. There's a lot of things I want to see in that, but I fell off. I stopped writing the script. I gave up. It's still there. I can pick it back up whenever, but I stopped it. After that, I got more into language learning again. I invested a lot of time into it a couple years ago, like 500 hours of just immersion learning, Anki, all these things you might know of if you're into the immersion learning community of languages. And I came back to it because I missed it. I thought it was fun, and I still think it's fun, and I like doing it. But I like doing it because it's so consuming heavy, because that's all I know how to do is consume. If I'm going to consume, I want to consume at least in a productive way. How I see myself doing that is consuming through media, consuming Japanese media so I can learn Japanese, right? But as this year is coming to a close, I don't really feel like I really followed my theme as well as I wanted to. Yeah, thank you for listening. Thank you for taking the time to get to know me a little bit. Honestly, I kind of spilled my soul out a little bit. Maybe a script would have been helpful. Maybe some talking points would have been helpful. But I think it's better for me to just come out and start talking. I am going to edit this down. I'm not as willing to put it out there as my sister is. Maybe someday I will be so willing, but for now, I just kind of wanted to get in front of the camera just to do something, to do anything that's not consuming. Just explore things that are outside of my comfort zone. And yeah, I really like the way this is very off topic now. I really like the way this whole setup looks right now. I got the Garfield. I actually won that. I won that from a crane machine place. I won it on the first try too. I never won anything, so I was so happy because I really identify with Garfield as a ginger, as someone who's self-identified as a lazy person. I really identify with Garfield, so I don't know, something about Garfield like kind of is drawn to me, I guess. Like I end up with a lot of Garfield items. People tend to get me Garfield things, even though I don't necessarily say much about Garfield. People just give me Garfield things. I really don't know why. I guess it's just the way I am. Maybe I'm just a silly Garfield guy. Anyway, probably the last tangent for the day. So yeah, thank you so much. Bye.